man, that's enough to keep you young.
I think if Leonard can say that, I can say that, you can say that, we can all say, going to learn something today as we get set to get underway. And FSU wins the opening tip as we started off here in Greensboro. FSU getting a handle to Mills. Up top for Worley. And here's Darren Green, 6'5" junior, let fly. Rebound knocked free. Back to Green Jr. And a second effort here for the Noles. Cleveland's been their best player this season. A misfire there, comes in averaging 14 and 8.
But you got the looks for your two guys that you want to get shots from. If you're Florida State on that first possession, Green, who's their knockdown three-point shooter, and Cleveland, as you mentioned, who's been their best player all season long.
Corner jumper here by Terry. He's going to swish that one in. It's 40% there.
He's 40%, and he's also playing 40 minutes a game right now. Josh Pastner shortened the rotation. Lance Terry often was to spend the entire game on the floor, never taking a break.
Caleb Mills running the show there along with Cleveland for Leonard Hamilton. You know, not one player on either of these Game 1 rosters was named to any of the ACC first, second, or third teams or honorable mention as Cleveland drops in. Well, I thought he might be a guy who would play his way on one of those teams.
Yeah, team success had a lot to do with it. Of course, as you mentioned in our open, Florida State losing 22 games this season, a program record. So going to be difficult to make it when your team hasn't had the success. But Matthew Cleveland has made a strong improvement from a season ago.
Javon Franklin handling the ball, a 6'7" senior. He can be a lot of fun to watch. He's a tremendous defender. Kelly will kick it out, and the second three swished in. That one by Sturdivant.
And this is the area of improvement for Josh Pastner's team. They're shooting the basketball so much better than they did really to start the season. The first 20 games of the season was a struggle for them to score.
Green turns and fires, and too strong with that one. And a battle for the rebound. Yellow Jackets come away with that. Now, they just were never a very good shooting team all season long. Talking about Georgia Tech, 42% overall, 34% from three. That was really the thing that stuck all season long.
That was, but over their last 9 games, they have been a much better offensive team. We mentioned averaging over 75 points per game in their last 9, scoring 90 against Syracuse, where they knocked down 18 three-point field goals.
A good effort there by Terry to keep that one alive. The 6'2" senior, who, as you say, is making 47% from three over the last 9 or 10 games. And they have won 3 straight coming in. That ties for their longest winning streak of the year. That's how they began the season. On the drive, Worley, and a sweet scoop shot for 2.
Yeah, nice take by Jalen Worley, who continues to develop at the point guard position. But when we get an opportunity to look at the numbers for Georgia Tech coming in the last 3 games, 83 points against Louisville at home, and then on the road, 96 at Syracuse and 73 at Boston College, which is a very good defensive team. So Josh Pastner and his offensive group much better.
Franklin on the drive, and he'll take the hit and go to the line. Opening minutes here of the very first game of the ACC tournament in Greensboro. Josh Pastner, year number 7. Took the Yellow Jackets on a fantastic run in this tournament a couple of years ago to win it. And an NCAA tournament bid. And up against one of the great men in college basketball, Leonard Hamilton.
Absolutely a mentor, a father figure to many, and a pretty good basketball coach alongside with that when you think about the fact over 600 career wins, and often destinations that many people did not want, to often having to come in and rebuild the program, not just taking over great success stories.
That's been a huge part of what I think is a Hall of Fame worthy reputation and resume for sure. That ability to come in and build programs that nobody else really wanted a part of and take them to the NCAA tournament. Whistle in the lane here with 16:39 to go. Just fascinating as you look over the last 5 seasons. Leonard talking about the learning experience of this year. He felt like he got caught by surprise with a couple of guys leaving the program who he said, it isn't your time yet to do that. He coached them not to go, but they did.
They did. They made those decisions to go, and you look at what Leonard Hamilton and his staff have been able to do at Florida State the last 5 seasons prior to this one. And you remember 2020 ACC champions, 2021, they were playing on this same floor against this same team in the ACC tournament championship. So there's been a lot of success in Tallahassee prior to this season.
Yellow Jackets, real young as far as Division I experience, one of the younger teams in the country as far as games played at D1. Sturdivant's hit a big 3 early on. Nice pass over the top, but no finish there by Franklin, who has serious hops, man. Cleveland spins that one up and in, but no basket. He wants the basket, but it's not forthcoming, and a foul. Still demanding the hoop.
I don't think he's going to win that battle, but again, I don't mind the attempt from Matthew Cleveland.
Second foul there on Miles Kelly, by the way.
Nice move by Cleveland to get to the rim is the finish, but he must think he's already in the NBA if he thinks he's going to get continuation on that one.
Yeah, not going to happen here. It'll stay on this end. Man, did he hit a shot against Miami, though. And that incredible come from behind. But, yeah, he wants that NBA basket.
Yeah, the continuation, not going to get it, but does get the second foul on Miles Kelly, who's the ACC Player of the Week. But Josh Pastner doesn't even flinch about taking Kelly off the floor.
Kelly scoring about 20 a game the last 5 games. And a big rebound there by Franklin, the senior from Little Rock, Arkansas, who gets in the air. And he gets up fast.
He absolutely does. And he's really been the difference maker. Josh Pastner going small and playing Franklin at that 5 spot. We see another steal from Jalen Worley with a career-high 4 steals Saturday at Virginia Tech. Gets another as Caleb Mills is able to turn it to a bucket. Defense to offense. OB.
Nobody stopped him. Yes. Went end-to-end there after the turnover. And FSU up by 1. Yellow Jackets, the 13 seed, FSU, the 12 seed. And still to come, we've got Boston College and Louisville at 4:30 with West Durham and Jordan Cornette coming your way. Number 10 against number 15. And what will be the second game of the day is Coleman straight on. Too strong.
Good look for Debo Coleman, a young man who can definitely knock down the 3 ball, but he struggled to shoot the basketball this season.
Worley backs it out. Green back to Worley on the perimeter. Shot clock down to 9. Green trying to step into one. Will jump and fire. Here's Cleveland underneath. The follow won't go. Batted away from Corrin. And here come the Yellow Jackets.
We mentioned a smaller Yellow Jackets team, but still scrappy on the glass, and Franklin one of the best. Had 15 rebounds at Boston College last time out as Sturdivant comes up with the foul. Caleb Mills pushing the basketball. That's Florida State style, and one of the reasons why Leonard Hamilton lets us know that every available waking moment of the day, I'm sick to my stomach for not being prepared for the unexpected. You can't imagine how determined I am to clean this up. Great lessons for coaches to learn from. Always be prepared for the unexpected. OB, I believe he's prepared now.
I believe it too. Matthew Cleveland still looking for that basket.
Absolutely. I would be too, OB. However, he's not going to get it. Not in college basketball. But right now, Florida State coming out with the 1-point lead, and they were able to get that lead using their defense, turning it into offense. Georgia Tech knocking down their first 2 shots. Since then, 0 for 5 from the field.
Cleveland had 21 in the first meeting against Georgia Tech, so he's very much the man to keep an eye on.
Well, and also you have to remember that his family has a lot of ties with Georgia Tech. Of course, both parents going to Georgia Tech. They thought that Matthew Cleveland was going to be a guy that ended up playing there. Chose Florida State instead.
Here's Green to launch. Yes, on target. And well off that three-point line.
Yes, he doesn't need to be anywhere close to the line. 88 three-pointers coming in to the ACC tournament this year, which tied for first in the ACC. And he's been a knockdown shooter his entire career, getting close to 300 made threes.
So that's some nice ones. 24 against Pitt, 20 against Notre Dame, 23 points against Purdue. He can really get rolling beyond that arc. Shot clock a factor, down to 7. That's third of it. Trying to make a move, can't. It's batted out with 4.1 on the clock. And Sunday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Our Nothing But Net men's and women's selection special, breaking down the brackets and previewing all the games with Kelsey Riggs as the host. To be kicked outside for a long one, just grazing the iron. Off target by Terry. And it's FSU by 4 early on.
Great to see the whole Nothing But Net crew in the building. My guy Luke Hancock, of course, Carlos Boozer, Joe Barry, and my little sis Kelsey, who always continues to forget my name. But you know what? I won't take it personally, OB.
Corin trying to get inside. How do you forget Corey, the great Alexander?
Ooh, that one is deep right there. Miles Kelly thinking, okay, well, if Darren Green can do it, I can do it also.
I think Kelsey's just messing with you.
You think so?
I think so.
I'll tell you what.
One came over to Dave Corris, our stats guy.
There's the crew.
That's a good-looking group.
Let me tell you about Kelsey, though. Best shoe game in the building, no question about it. Anytime shoe game. Her Jordans on point. She might have more Jordans than Mike. I'm not sure, but she's got a large collection.
And Kelsey and I've done a lot of events together, a lot of football and everything. There's rarely a time where she's not eating or drinking something when I see her.
Yes, yes.
Believe me.
I've noticed that.
I do not know how she does it.
I have noticed that. Strong metabolism on Kelsey.
Incredible metabolism. Cloud with a shot clock down to 1. Green's got to get a shot in the air and the spin. Rebound comes out high, and Georgia Tech will let it roll out. And I mean, here's another. Look at this. Always got something going. It's not one. It's like a couple coffees. It's usually a whole plate of food. I don't know how she does it.
Yeah, I mean, again, you know, it's a gift. Let's just say that she has a special talent. It's a gift.
You've got the same thing. I bust you on it all the time.
Yeah,
too.
but my results aren't quite like Kelsey's. My metabolism, I don't believe, is quite as high.
Three-pointer and knocked down. A nice one from the wing there by Coleman to cut it to a 1-point game.
Great to see Debo Coleman stepping up, knocking down the threes. I'm sure that's a positive sign for Josh Pastner coming into Greensboro.
There's their first field goal in a little over 6 minutes. And knocked out with 11:45 to go here in the first half.
There they go. I can tell you right now, that trio right there, OB, me, you, and those three, we can win some games.
There's never been a great deal on the Hyundai you've always wanted.
You know I didn't come to play.
With a Mears complimentary maintenance. Every mile at the Hyundai Getaway sales event and Getaway. Get payments for 90 days on select Hyundai.
It's now for ACC Player of the Year, Coach of the Year.
I love the Coach of the Year. We got Rookie of the Year and Kyle Filipowski. Reese Beekman gaining the Defensive Player of the Year award. Of course, Nike Shabandi coming up with the 6th man, and Quentin Post as the most improved player. And Obi, you know, normally this is the time of year where I get on air and talk about all the voters and what they don't know what they're talking about. I'm not mad at them for any of these. I think they got 3 of the 6 correct. However, I'm not going to argue with them this time because I don't really think there was a lot of separation this season as far as the ACC Players and Award.
I would agree. It felt like with several of the major awards, if you voted for the guy who finished 2nd or 3rd, you still would have gotten it right.
Agree with you wholeheartedly on that one. And then you think about, of course, I thought Jeff Capel was a shoe-in for Coach of the Year. I thought that was great. I had Jordan Miller. So the fact that a Miami player won the ACC Player of the Year, I'm not mad at that at all. But I thought it was the wrong Miami player.
Sure.
I thought that Jordan Miller was the guy for that.
Well, congrats to Jeff Capel. Heck of a job bringing Pittsburgh back. Almost a complete reverse of their 1-loss record from a year ago.
Yeah, well, when you consider the fact that Pittsburgh was able to not only win and finish in the top 5 of the ACC this season, had a chance to be a regular season champion going into Miami, but difficult to win in Coral Gables.
And Pitt, the number 5 seed, will get the winner of this one tomorrow afternoon at 2:30. In transition, Sturdivant with a kick out. Terry beyond the 3. Sturdivant lets fly, short.
And you don't mind that look from Sturdivant, but I'm sure that's one Josh Passer would have preferred for Lance Terry to just take it after Sturdivant created the opportunity for him on the fast break.
Now, I mentioned BC and Louisville coming up at 4:30. And then later on tonight, 7, Virginia Tech and Notre Dame, the 11 and 14 seeds, with Wes and Jordan coming your way. Here's Cleveland. Got a pretty good look. Rebound comes right to the 7 for McLeod and gets 2.
And those are the type of moves that encourage Leonard Hamilton, that Naheem McLeod can be a guy that can be that center that they need him to be. But oftentimes those plays are a little too far in few between. So when you think about that, they need to see more consistency from McLeod.
Every so often he'll pop off and have a good game, like 16 against Syracuse. It has a feeling of coming out of nowhere at times, but he's capable.
Yeah, he absolutely is capable and has shown tremendous improvement over the last couple of seasons.
Sturdivant. No. Battle for that by Franklin. And a foul on the play. 9:56 left in the half. This is a pretty nice little move here.
This is one that makes our super producer Kim Belton proud. Kim used to get it done on the block like this. Of course, not quite as tall as McLeod, but still more effective. But right now, when you see a young man making a nice left-handed jump hook, going to the offhand, post players rejoice when they see moves like that being made in today's game.
Well, man, now that's Cleveland. Kind of writhing in pain there. And right now, in significant discomfort, he is slapping the floor. Ooh.
See the right ankle on Cleveland
Wow.
landing. He's going out to contest the shot of Terry, and looking back, that right ankle just rolling on the landing.
Oh, boy.
And Florida State's just dealt with so many injuries this season. Hard to watch another young man be down for the Seminoles.
And their best player. So the 6'7" sophomore, the young man from Atlanta, and what has become a very quiet building going down here, twisting that ankle and needing help to get up. And he had been in frustration slapping the hardwood after he went down. Boy, you do hate to see that. And we'll get you an update on Matthew Cleveland's status and condition as soon as we can. But yeah, obviously a huge blow to the Seminoles' hopes today. But more importantly, you just hope he's going to be okay. And it's nothing more serious than an ankle sprain, but we will find out exactly what's going on. Corey, in fact, is going to leave the table and try and get a couple of answers here as they play on with 9:56 to go. And Georgia Tech the inbound. Trying to get it in, and that one off of Miller. And 3 seconds going off the clock there. And Jamie Lucky going over to the monitor as Cleveland is taken back toward his locker room. And 1.9 went to 19 on the clock. Looking to get it in over the top. Kelly playing with some foul trouble. He's got a couple here in the first half. Terry on the drive with the kick. And a little too strong by Kelly to get a second chance. Coleman in tight, and he gets hit. He draws the foul. Debo Coleman, the 6'6" sophomore, as we check out the bracket now. This is game number 1. 12-13 FSU and Georgia Tech. The Hokies and the Irish coming away. That'll be after Boston College and Louisville. And round 2 tomorrow at noon begins with Syracuse and Wake Forest. Now rounded out for Coleman. He'll get another opportunity. So the Pitt Panthers getting set to get active in this tournament as the number 5 seed. And that will be tomorrow, the winner of this game. Chandler Jackson in now for Leonard Hamilton, the talented freshman. Mills gave up the dribble. Mills finds an opening. He'll lay it in. That's one of his favorite moves. That scoop shot to the basket. A low scoring first half, but Florida State on top 14-10. However, they have lost their number 1 player to a leg injury, Matthew Cleveland, and we are efforting to find out anything we can beyond what we showed you, as he obviously twisted and turned that ankle. Looking for a wraparound behind the back pass there. That is off of Georgia Tech and out. Miles Kelly with the turnover. Yellow Jackets trying to make it 4 consecutive wins. That would be a season high for Georgia Tech if they can pull it off here today. Green back out for Jackson. Miller looking to make a move, swooping into the paint and banks it in.
And Obi, that's one of the reasons why there's so many NBA scouts coming in the early game, first game, to be able to see Bob Miller, see what he can perform. Matthew Cleveland, of course, another one of the guys that many of the scouts wanted to see, out now with the injury, and we'll get word on his update on him after the timeout, hopefully.
Yeah, Miller's 6'11" freshman, a world of possibility. Tough catch and heavy traffic there by Moore, and he will lay it in.
Moore is really the only guy that will get minutes off the bench for Josh Pastner throughout this game. The rotation has been cut down to 6 players, and Josh Pastner liking the 6 guys he can put out there.
Miller with the kick out. Here's Jackson on target for 3.
And Jackson is growing up on the fly, OB. A young man who had injury issues early in the year, but he's coming off a couple games where he scored double figures for Leonard Hamilton, and now starting to become a main cog in that rotation.
So FSU, despite losing Matthew Cleveland, has opened up a 7-point advantage. 8 out of 19 from the field. And you look at the Yellow Jackets, as we mentioned, a season-long problem, not shooting the ball very effectively at all. Terry gave it up, and again in traffic, they do get it outside for Kelly. Too strong. So FSU working on a 7-point lead. Here's Miller, too strong. McLeod keeping that alive. Green can't drill it. Terry, the senior, you got a body up on him from three-point land. He hits 47% the last 7 or 8 games.
McLeod.
Yes.
McLeod with the block inside. Florida State getting good minutes out of McLeod here down the stretch. Without Cleveland on the floor, they're going to need someone else to step it up.
And yes, an offensive.
There's been a number of players thus far, OB. Naheem McLeod is one of the guys as we see Matthew Cleveland rolling that right ankle. Hopefully we'll have an update for you when we return.
Sonic now is treats under $, and Sonic's most craveable Sonic's most criminal when you might need some cravings coming, except you don't eat pants.
Walsh going back, trying to get us an update on Matthew Cleveland. I went to that same door, Obi. I got denied, but Chuck's got a different level of access around here than I do. And that's what happens when you're a Hall of Famer like Chuck Walsh is, one of the best sports information directors that you'll find in the business.
Yeah, in fact, Chuck's getting a national honor at the Final Four in Houston this year for excellence as a sports information director, one of the greats in college basketball. And right now the concerned look on his face as he goes to the phone.
Well, fortunately, when he goes to the phone, that means we're going to get something on our phones relatively soon, and that will be the update on Matthew Cleveland, whether he can come back and continue in this one, or we've seen the last of him here today.
So FSU leading 19-12. Sturdivant and Georgia Tech trying to cut into that. Coleman will swing up top here for Terry. Senior from just outside Atlanta. He's harassed with 7 on the shot clock. Worley all over him. Sturdivant with a pull-up long one. Can't bury it. Rebound torn down by FSU. And Cameron Corrin.
An update on Matthew Cleveland as the nice find from Mills to Corn inside. Right now, x-rays being taken, so no update as of yet. But of course, Chuck will keep us up to date on everything that's Florida State related.
Meanwhile, Florida State has their biggest lead of game one.
And often happens, OB, and of course, you know, you've been covering sports much longer than I, but one man goes down, the next man up mentality happens with the team, and never more prevalent than with Florida State. When you think about the way that Leonard Hamilton likes to play, their style of play, they'll go play 13 guys. You know, he's had a bunch of injuries this year, and of course, you know, some guys who they thought would be back with their program that were not this year, so they're playing younger guys in those spots, but they have enough bodies to be able to still go out and be effective.
Worley with the foul to put Franklin at the line. 68%. Saturday afternoon. Some of the top lacrosse teams in the nation highlighting our triple header. Start with number 13 Notre Dame, the women taking on number 2 Syracuse at noon. Then number 8 Ohio State, the men squaring off against number 2 Notre Dame, followed by number 1 Virginia hosting Towson. Green won't wait. Rebound tip. Franklin had it knocked away from him. House had it rejected by Franklin. Green in close for the bank shot.
Green showing he's more than a three-point shooter, but give House a lot of credit getting in there, coming up with the offensive rebound and finding a teammate for the second chance points.
Terry running right into a wall, torn away by Jackson. Green again.
And Georgia Tech fortunate right now. Green's got a number of good looks, just unable to knock them down. You talk about a 40% three-point shooter on the season.
Debo Coleman on the drive. Had to adjust, got it to go.
And we came on air talking about Georgia Tech and their scoring. And they've averaged over 75 points per game their last 9. Only 16 points, having almost played 16 minutes here in this first half. So it's been a struggle for Georgia Tech.
House short with that jumper. A freshman out of Dayton, Ohio. Either side waiting around, are they?
No, they are not. That's one of the differences with this Georgia Tech team in the last 9 games of the season. They're taking shots much quicker in the shot clock than you would see them take early in the year.
Good defense there by Franklin. He's one of the better defenders in the league. That's a tie-up on the play. Possession arrow will take it to the other end. 23-16 FSU.
For an in-demand career, you're passionate of Technical Institute's wind turbine and industrial Chicago area. The skills needed for a career that powers someone like gas, coal. What are you waiting for? Lyle to learn more today.
The New York Life. Duke Blue Devils coming in at number 4, maybe the hottest team in the tournament right now. Coming in, Clemson, the number 3.
Then when you think about the Virginia Cavaliers making their entrance into the ACC tournament on Tuesday, and of course the top seed Miami Hurricanes, who have a plethora of offensive weapons when they arrive in Greensboro.
So fans of all the schools gathering here for the sessions, getting a chance to see who might be an opponent down the line. 3:54 to go here in the first half.
And OB, fortunate news, great news for Florida State Seminoles. No structural damage with Matthew Cleveland, and they're going to tape him up and hopefully see if he can return in the second half.
Man, that's about the best possible news.
All I can say to that, it's great to be young.
Great to be young.
I would still be on the floor right now if that happened.
Be on the floor for about 6 months. But, you know, as high as he was, that was the really scary thing. And he hasn't returned yet, but it's incredible to think he might. Terry with a line driver short.
One of the things that we're seeing right now from Georgia Tech, most of their shots have been short. And we go back to the fact that this is a 6-man rotation. These guys have played a lot of minutes over the last stretch of basketball for the Ramblin' Wreck.
FSU, by the way, came right from their last game right here. Last game was Saturday.
Came down from Blacksburg and have been here in Greensboro working on their opportunities.
A reminder to fans to download the ACC 3-Point Challenge app presented by New York Life to help benefit the local boys and girls clubs. Score points for your school, and after the tournament, the local boys and girls club will receive a donation from New York Life based on their affiliated ACC team's final ranking. And the topic of three-pointers now, you and Randolph at dinner last night going back and forth about a whole myriad of skills that both of you had. You're both great players. You guys were one-upping each other all night long. I mean, starting with the appetizer and then the entree, the dessert, and then you had another dessert.
you had to throw in the multiple desserts.
It was remarkable, but you two are a lot of fun when you get together.
But Obi, you tell the family business about our desserts now. But again, that's okay. You can do that. You can do that.
I take that back. No one's paying any attention.
That's okay. But again, no, we had a great time last night. Of course, you, Kim, myself, Jay Billis, Randolph Childers, Jordan Cornell. I mean, we had the whole crew.
Great.
A great time.
Yeah, terrific way to kick off the ACC tournament for us.
And it was lightweight for me and Randolph last night. It normally gets much more heated than we did. We try to act civilized, you know, in the restaurant.
You guys are great friends. Another man down as Kelly made the basket.
Baba Miller on the floor now, holding that right ankle. We've seen Matthew Cleveland already exit with the injury. Baba Miller sliding. There goes that right ankle turning.
Oof. Still on his back. The 6'11" freshman who grew up in Spain. 2:46 to go in a half. And we'll see if Baba can get up here and get back on his feet. But the second apparent ankle injury, it was number 1. Both of these for Florida State. Boy, it's scary watching that replay.
Yeah, when you see Matthew Cleveland immediately just sit down to not put any pressure on that right ankle, and then Baba Miller turning it, stepping on someone's foot, which is a very common injury in the game.
Yep. Well, we'll take a break here. We'll be back in 30. 25-18 FSU. Well, this is live now. Baba Miller on his feet. Go. an FSU player being helped back to the locker room to have an ankle checked out. And this happens so often in basketball, stepping on either a teammate's foot or an opponent's foot and rolling the ankle.
Yeah, and that's a full roll from Miller as well. We saw with Matthew Cleveland the ankle, the foot rolling completely over. Same thing with Miller. So hopefully we have opportunity to get both these young men back on the floor in the second half. But I'm sure there will be some testing, maybe a couple images done on Baba Miller before that decision's made.
So a couple of key men out for the Seminoles, and yet they're on top 25-18. Thus far they have withstood these problems.
And OB, we have to go back to our quote we read from Leonard Hamilton earlier in the game. This, even though unexpected, Leonard Hamilton prepared for this. He's learned to prepare for any of the unexpected all season long.
Green with a nifty hook pass and a slam by Cora and the big freshman.
And that's what you get when other guys step up.
So FSU continues to be the sharper team. Whistle on the baseline with 2:06 to go. Here in the first half, first round of the ACC tournament, game number 1.
Darren Green Jr. attacking the basket. The nice find for Cam Corn, who finishes with authority over the rim.
Terry bottled up. And they're going to call that a held ball, and that'll turn the ball over. So Florida State will win it back with the defense.
And right now, we've seen a lot more energy for the Seminoles throughout this game. Leonard Hamilton told us early in this season he could say, okay, look, I'm just going to cut the rotation, play the guys that have experience, and slow things down. But he decided not to do that. He wanted to play the Florida State way. And they've done that and allowed other guys to be able to gain experience. And it's showing up here right now.
Jackson over the top. Green can't handle that, but knocked away from him with 7 on the shot clock. And this is Baba Miller. This is another really good sign as he is now running on that.
To be young. I would sing it like the old Coming to America days. I'm not going to do it. Our listeners do not deserve that type of punishment.
To be indestructible. A pull-up pop there by Worley. He'll knock it down. So 10 players have logged minutes for FSU. A couple of them have gone back to the locker room with ankle injuries, and they both may be back before the game is over. Kelly can't finish it. Slapped away, and a nice save there on that sideline. Got it free to Debo Coleman, and an official timeout. Jamie Lucky stopping play with 1:15 to go.
And Jamie Lucky looking to see if the shot clock should have reset if Florida State actually had possession of that basketball. And great to see Baba Miller coming back out of the tunnel and joining his team once again.
1:15 to go. We'll take another break here for 30. Florida State, despite the injuries, on top 29-18.
Straight more of you have trusted for the day, stretch the weekend, or tow. That's because they're built for are America's best-selling trucks. That we thank you, because it's about yours.
The Noles hoping.
Cleveland for the win. It's good. Matthew Cleveland stuns Miami. I think Matthew Cleveland may have called game. He just looked at the fans and said, time to go home. And Florida State.
And there you go, because when he is on the floor, look what he's capable of.
Absolutely capable of big-time plays and 3 buzzer-beater wins for Matthew Cleveland. To his credit, only a sophomore at Florida State. He has 3 games already where he's made the final shot to get his team a victory. I don't think I ever had one in my college career, OB.
You didn't have one?
Not one in college, nope.
Coming up a minute to go before the break. Kelly, yes. Nice touch there. 38% beyond the three.
Encouraging sign for Josh Pastner, getting Miles Kelly going. The ACC Player of the Week, averaging 25.5 points in the last 2 road games, which were both wins for Georgia Tech coming into the ACC tournament.
Jackson over the top again, and it's tipped in. Cam Corrin got his fingertips on it. And a friendly roll.
And you speak of freshmen. Cam Corrin has been a very good freshman throughout this season, but he continues to get better. You see him stepping up, playing that role as the 5-man at Florida State, which normally is reserved for someone at least 7 feet tall. But Cam Corrin is doing a great job filling in this year.
Straight on Sturdivant, got an excellent look. He was wide open. Rebound batted around. It'll go the other way. 14.5 seconds to play in half number 1. McLeod, 7'4" junior from Philly, getting ready to check back in. And FSU calling the timeout. So another 30-second timeout. And we'll keep it right here with Florida State leading 31-21. They would have been forgiven given the season they've had at 9-22 with 2 of their better players going out with ankle injuries. Going to fold up a little in the first half. Anything but, really.
But one of the things you've seen as Leonard Hamilton and Stan the Man Jones, who's drawing up something right now for this last 14.5 for Florida State, they continue to coach this team. And they've talked a lot about, we're not necessarily coaching the things that we've coached in the past. We're going back to basics. We're teaching the basics once again that we haven't had to do with experienced teams over the past 5-6 seasons. But right now, I believe it's going to benefit this program for these guys getting this major experience throughout the season.
Well, to their credit, they haven't hung their heads. There's still a lot of energy. There's still a lot of enthusiasm.
He mentioned yesterday in their practice, amazing to see these guys remain positive after the season that they've had.
Worley bringing it across. 8 seconds to go in the half. Worley looking to make a move, pulls up. That one sailed on him. That's how the first half comes to an end. Florida State in game number 1 behind Leonard Hamilton. And a lot of guys who got in the game. No shock there. They
come out of the locker room and still attempt to play in the second half. Says a lot about him as a young man and his character, but more importantly, the leadership that he's showing about how important this game is for his team.
I'm telling you, this is a bit of a stunner because we were watching him going back and forth at midcourt dribbling the ball, and he looked like he was about 55.
Well, okay, 49. That's what 49. I am right now. And he definitely looked better than what I would running up and down the floor at this point. But again, you know, just the fact that he's giving it a chance, that just shows you how important this game is to Matthew Cleveland and to the Seminoles. Because Leonard Hamilton, if this game wasn't important, there's no way he would give Matthew Cleveland an opportunity to go back out on the floor.
Corrin with his second foul, by the way. So is the theory here that he'll warm it up, he'll feel better as he goes?
Get some endorphins flowing, get some blood flowing through that ankle, and hopefully it loosens up for him even more as the game actually goes along.
Sturdivant, nice little jump shot to get the Yellow Jackets on the board here in the second half. Again, this is game number 1 of the day. Boston College and Louisville coming up at 4:30, and then Virginia Tech and Notre Dame tonight at 7. Wes Durham and Jordan Cornette will be on the call right here from the Coliseum. Here's Cleveland. Well, he kind of left him wide open to shoot that one, but he can't bury it.
Yeah, Georgia Tech in the zone right now, not getting out to Cleveland, but again, he's an improved shooter, and that's one you don't want to continue to give him those type of looks.
Again, he had 21 points in the first go-around against Georgia Tech earlier this winter. Sturdivant pounding it inside. That's a traveling violation. So this was right at the beginning of the second half, and this did not look like a man who was ready to play.
It did not, but we've seen him go up and down the court a couple of times already here in this second half, and he looks even better than he did then. So maybe the ankle is starting to loosen up some for Matthew Cleveland, but definitely not his normal effective self.
He's showing you some serious toughness. Worley on the drive, a reach in here, and the officials getting together. They'll keep it on this end. Good crew here. Jamie Lucky, Tommy Morrissey, and Jerry Heater. You chatted with Jerry Heater a little before the game. Did you ask him, did he have a big fastball?
He has to. I mean, at the end of the day, if your last name is Heater, you've got to throw the heat.
Absolutely. 98. Here's Worley. Too strong.
I told him I knew a guy that was connected with the Red Sox. You know, if he really had the heat, I might be able to get him a shot.
Yeah, if he was still throwing that hard all these years later, we could use the help. Anybody could. 31-23. Coleman will bounce here for Franklin. Franklin, a dynamic talent. He'll draw a foul on his way to the cup. 6'7" senior from Little Rock, Arkansas. Last 9 games, he's been averaging a double-double.
And that's one of the areas why he's been so successful, and Josh Pastner's group has since they've gone small. Putting Franklin at the 5 spot is because in their Princeton offense, when you're putting the basketball into the hand of your 5-man, Franklin has the ability to beat his guy off the bounce. Another opportunity offensively for Georgia Tech.
Cam Corrin's got to come out. That's 3 fouls on him. And McLeod on for him. Just getting started here in the second half. In fact, Franklin is number 3 in the ACC in offensive rebounds per game. And watching his leaping ability, and Wes Durham was talking about it last night at dinner, you know, just how fast he gets in the air.
Yes, he is a great athlete, but more importantly, undersized, plays extremely hard, and a great rebounder. That's the bigger concern.
Well, the thing to watch, I think, certainly for Cleveland is explosiveness. Will he show you any of that? Because it's a big part of his game. He's going to drive it here and kick it back out. Mills will fire. Cleveland went for the rebound, came up short on that. Now Georgia Tech trying to cut into the lead. They have been trailing most of the day here in game 1, ACC tournament, round number 1. Kelly all the way through with that left hand.
And Miles Kelly, of course, from Atlanta, as is Matthew Cleveland. I'm sure this is the first time these guys have met at the rim throughout their entire careers, but both have made tremendous jumps during this sophomore season.
Worley from the corner. McLeod got the rebound, came right to him with a whistle here. With 17:08 to go in the first half. In the second half. The first half, the big story was the injuries for the Noles. And yet they overcame those. Foul number 3 on Miles Kelly.
Kelly played through those 2 fouls in the first half for a long period of time. And Josh Pastner has always been one of the coaches who does not subscribe to the take you out once you get 2 fouls. He'll play guys with even 3 fouls in the first half.
Green stepping into a 3 and drills it.
And even stepping in, he was still about 30 feet away from the basket.
He likes it out there.
He does. Again, if you're Georgia Tech, you've got to know he's capable of knocking down threes from well beyond the 3-point line.
Couple steps inside midcourt. And Franklin with a kick for Terry. And he returns the favor.
But you can see right now, Josh Pastner wants to put the basketball in the hands of Franklin, especially with McLeod guarding him. He's already gotten Corn in foul trouble, and see if he can make plays for his teammates.
Cleveland, long distance, yes! And sweet touch there from Matthew Cleveland.
And again, the one thing that Cleveland will be able to do effectively with the injured ankle right now is stand and shoot. If you're Georgia Tech, he can't be the guy that you allow to have those opportunities.
Great point. Kelly with the feed. Leaning in, blocked away by McLeod. Got a high for that, although when you're 7-4. Here's Green again. Back-to-back from way downtown.
And Florida State opening up the lead, pushing it to 11. Matthew Cleveland back on the floor. We've seen great plays from him throughout this game. We've seen him doing a lot of different things, asking for a continuation, even a little bit of officiating throughout this game, making sure he keeps everyone on point. We all know that Greensboro an aquarium, a zoo, and of course nothing but love for our guy Matthew Cleveland, who is playing it, gutting it out for his team here in a game that many young people will walk away from. Not a lot of meaning in a 12-13 matchup, but you can see how important it is to Matthew Cleveland and to the Florida State Seminoles.
2 for 7 and 6 points. You know, there's another side of it too, and that is, should he be out there? hobbling around on a bad ankle, and at times he's looked like he's coming around again. Other times, not so much.
Well, one thing I will say to this is, when you have this game and the opportunity to be able to play it, I missed the ACC tournament my last 2 seasons in college because my ankle was broken. So with no structural damage, if he can go play, I say go play, enjoy yourself, because you never take these opportunities for granted.
Man, is that a pretty shot by Miles Kelly on the drive. Sweet little reverse.
Miles Kelly showing off a little bit of his offensive ability, which we've seen a lot of throughout these last 9 games for Georgia Tech, averaging over 20 points per game throughout the stretch.
Mills on the baseline. McLeod.
That close, you got to shoot that one, OB. Okay.
Maybe not. 40-31. FSU. Sturdivant quickly down the other end. Big rebound. Franklin McLeod with the block. Well, he's certainly capable of doing that.
Yeah,
Cleveland.
Leonard Hamilton has to be happy with the production he's gotten out of that 5 spot between McLeod and Cam Corn throughout this game, offensively and defensively.
Caleb Mills. And a reach and a foul. Kelly was on him. Give you a look at who is showing up here. That is the Louisville Cardinals. They're coming up against BC at 2:30 here in the ACC network as the tournament rolls on. We're just getting started.
Get Help Wealth Plan, a new tool in the Chase. Use it to set and track your goal and see how changes you make today from your first side and the other goals along the way can help you get there.
Number 19 NC State, Miami squaring off first game of the 3-game series at Alex Rodriguez Park in Coral Gables right here at ACC Network. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern.
Obi, I've been that guy out there playing pickup in the park many a times. I can tell you right now, if I turn my ankle, I'm not playing anymore. That is it for the day.
It's like every weekend in those pickup games I was turning my ankle, shutting it down in about 5 minutes. Meanwhile, Matthew Cleveland continues to play. We know Leonard and we know Stan on their bench very, very well. There's no way they're letting him play if it's going to, cause a further injury, or if there was any kind of structural damage. Forget about it. No chance in the world.
Absolutely not. And again, of course, that's one of the things that Leonard Hamilton has talked so much about, that he learned from Lake Kelly, who he was the assistant coach for at Austin Peay. His first coaching job was how to love on his players, how to take care of his players and protect them. And again, he's protecting Matthew Cleveland by allowing him to play with so many scouts here to see him.
Well, tightening up a little bit. 40-34 FSU. Back outside for Sturdivant. Cam Corrin, the 6'10 freshman for FSU, playing in foul trouble, getting ready to check back into the game. Shot clock is at 5. Franklin hands off. Here's Kelly. He's got to heave it up there. FSU a couple of times has had a lead as high as 11 today. Worley, nifty spin, and fouled as he got hit by Debo Coleman. That'll be number 1 on the 6'6 sophomore from Memphis. And we'll put Worley at the line. Worley recently lit up Pittsburgh for 23 points.
He's had some big games this year, and again, getting into the starting lineup after the injury to Cameron Fletcher. Another injury that Florida State had to deal with throughout this season. Fletcher was really playing his best basketball, probably the best player for the team when he was injured in that game at Virginia. But it allowed Jalen Worley to be able to get into the starting lineup. And Florida State got off to a pretty good start in ACC play. Now, they've lost 9 of their last 11 games, but got off to a good start in the first part of ACC.
So the rebuilding for FSU, 9-22, most losses in school history. They're not used to this. They're used to being very competitive. You know, a couple of years ago, coming here before the tournament was canceled, they look like a Final Four team.
Absolutely, and they're not used to playing this many young guys. Leonard Hamilton is used to having guys who have been in the program for 2 years and now ready to step up into a different role. So it's been different for the Seminoles this season, having to play so many guys that are inexperienced within their system.
You believe, though, with a couple of these injured guys who've been out most of the year, as Kelly drives it. Oh, and stuffed in by Franklin. We talked about the hops. Yeah, he was up over that rim.
We saw that one coming. He got a free run down the lane, and once the basketball came off the rim, it was over for anybody other than Franklin.
He'll grab the rebound as a foul there on Miller, trying to slow down Javon Franklin. Look at this.
Really back. Look at that. You can hear it. That is going to get it. Javon Franklin going well above. Pretty much got to move the throw out the way. He got a little throw working right now. He had to move it out the way before he messed up his hair on the rim.
Miller with his second personal foul. And 12:41 to go. And the officials going to the monitor.
Well, Baba Miller tossing Lance Terry down. I believe the officials are going over to look at that and see if there was any type of hostile act. And Matthew Cleveland fearful of sitting down. That's one thing when you're playing with an injury. Oftentimes you sit down and stiffens up. So, of course, very intelligent young man. Smart of him to stay up and keep moving, especially during these breaks, to make sure that ankle doesn't get stiff on him.
Last year's ACC sixth man of the year. Just over the past years, not this year, but many seasons, sort of a rite of passage for Florida State. They have a sixth man of the year.
They have pretty much, taken over that award ever since Fiondu Kabengele was the guy that did it first. And ever since then, it's been the Florida State award.
This is what they were looking at as they went to the monitor, and they've just ruled a common foul here.
Yeah, you see Miller and Terry getting involved in the mix right there. The foul will go on Baba Miller, but not much there. But we have to mention Georgia Tech making this a 6-point game now. Opportunity to cut even more into that lead. Miles Kelly knocking down the three, and Franklin's dunk just like that, making this game much closer.
Some pressure in for Terry. And don't forget, coming up at 4:30, Boston College and Louisville. That's the 10 seed and the 15. At 7 o'clock, Virginia Tech and Notre Dame, the 11 against the 14. Mike Bray, every game he coaches at Notre Dame could be his last. Shot clock at 6. Franklin again. And too strong.
That's not something you see a lot of from Franklin. He's not the guy known as going to shoot the jump shot, attacks the basket most of the time on the offensive end, but pressed up against the shot clock.
Sturdivant trying to slow down Mills. That is a tough task, and he commits the foul. Of course, Mike Bray has also said he wants to keep coaching. It's going to end in Notre Dame, but it's not going to be the end of his coaching career.
Yeah, but we're going to miss him in the ACC, though.
Oh, we sure are.
One of the best coaches,
sure,
not just on the floor, but also off the court, to be able to talk to, have conversations with.
Mike, terrific coach, immensely entertaining. He's had great success at Notre Dame. Close to dunk, and there was a whistle before that with 11:56 to go. And a foul on Coleman will be his second. Boston College inside their locker room. They're getting ready to take the floor.
Makai Ashton-Langford, he cut the hair. I didn't even recognize him yesterday, OB.
How about that?
Got a new look for us.
Oh, what a nice day as we get the ACC tournament underway. So look at the bracket. I'm going to put you on the spot right away.
Uh-oh.
And you don't have to necessarily tell me who you think's going to win the tournament.
Okay.
But who do you really like going in?
I really like the Duke Blue Devils coming into the tournament. I think that they are playing their best basketball of the season. They're healthy at this point going down the stretch. But my Cinderella team, and when I say Cinderella, that means a team that is not starting in the quarterfinals, somebody that starts on Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm going with the Wolfpack. Kevin Keats and his group blown out at home on senior night by Clemson. Jarkel Joyner, Jaquavion Smith, and DJ Burns will be very motivated coming into the Greensboro Coliseum.
Green Jr. sick in that free throw. NC State playing late tomorrow night. The winner of Virginia Tech and Notre Dame takes on the Wolfpack. They're the number 60. That's at 9:30 tomorrow night.
And we've seen in the past, you know very well, that the Wolfpack faithful can turn this into PNC Part 2.
Oh. Mr. Franklin once again rising up for a slam. He only has 7 points. It feels like a lot more than that because he has 13 rebounds.
But he's got loud points, though. You recognize it whenever he's scoring.
You sure do. Fun to watch. Jackson, Kelly stuck right with him. That helped force the turnover. Yellow Jackets want to hurry up. Here's Terry from the corner. Baba Miller, good to see him active again. If you weren't with us in the first half, FSU lost a couple of guys, including Matthew Cleveland, for a while because of ankle injuries. Miller in and out. He'll be batted away. He'll stay right here. Matthew Cleveland still staying on those feet and talking about the hops of Franklin.
Yeah, Franklin just finding his way onto the highlights whenever he gets his hands on the basketball. Just the degree of difficulty of that dunk. He makes it look easy. That is far from easy. You've got to be big time athletic to do that.
Jackson denied. Darren Green with a fall away. And Franklin's got another rebound. He's been a monster on the glass.
Yeah, he had 15 rebounds in their win at Boston College to end the regular season, and it's creeping right back up there again. May go above that here this afternoon.
Yeah, it's 14. And a whistle here. Stopping play at 10:16 to go. Georgia Tech creeping back into this thing once again. Draws a big grin from Leonard, which is not a typical thing to see from Leonard Hamilton.
No, he's normally locked in. He's normally pretty locked in during the game. So, but as he mentioned, this has been a learning year for him. So he's learning to enjoy it a little bit more.
He looked amused. 43-38. Shot clock down to 6. Kelly doesn't shoot it. Sturdivant's going to have to on the heave. Rebound tipped and controlled by the Knowles. You're talking about Leonard Hamilton. Now he holds basketball. He says, it is my ministry. This is my calling to help young people fulfill their dreams. He's been doing that for an awfully long time.
He absolutely has. And again, he was that young person, and he had people ministering to him, and basketball allowed him to fulfill his dreams. So he's paying it forward and has been doing it for over 50 years now.
Yeah. Cleveland back on. Sturdivant, by the way, with his 3rd foul for the Yellow Jackets. Under 10 to play. Chandler Jackson, the freshman, to get it in. Cleveland. Pull-up pop. Well, that ankle looked pretty good there.
It's amazing the way he's been able to move, especially when he's got the basketball in his hands. So you can limp when you're on defense. But when he gets the ball in his hands, he looks just as quick as he did before he went out with the injury.
Yeah, the limp kind of disappears. He's got himself a jump shot. Sturdivant on a tough drive with some contact. Franklin finishes another one. And Javon Franklin, last 9 games, averaging a double-double. He recently had the 5th triple-double in Georgia Tech history. He's against Syracuse, 14, along with 15 rebounds and 10 assists.
Obi, there have been 3 triple-doubles in the ACC this season as Chandler Jackson gets to his spot and is able to knock it down. 2 of them against Syracuse. I know that makes you feel great.
You know, little pain. Thanks for that. A little bit of a wound there.
Jarkel Joyner got a triple-double at Syracuse, but Syracuse did win that game. It was different. With Javon Franklin, he was able to get the triple-double and the win.
Kelly way downtown and fouled on the play in the act of shooting the 3. A closer look at Matthew Cleveland, the 6'7" sophomore, moving off the ball.
Yeah, you see him moving off the ball. He's got a little more speed to him. when he knows he's going to get it, and then once he gets it in his hands, I didn't see a limp, OB. I'm just saying. I'm not saying he doesn't exist, but I didn't see a limp when he was getting to the sweet spot.
Oh, it definitely is there. I mean, we saw the ankle injury in the first half, and that was really frightening.
It really was.
Because he had jumped so high, and when he came down, that's when he turned it. You're all thinking, well, I don't know.
I tell you right now, when he gets that ball in his hands, going to get a bucket, he's not thinking about that limp. He's not thinking about the ankle. He's only thinking about 2 points, and we've seen him do that here in the second half.
Meanwhile, the Seminoles fouled the wrong guy in the act of attempting a three because Kelly's 89% and drains him. So it's a 4-point game. It's the closest since FSU led it 16-12.
And give Georgia Tech a tremendous amount of credit, specifically Javon Franklin. He's been the guy that's really led them with their energy, their effort, coming up with the offensive rebounds, the putbacks, and doing it defensively as well.
Cleveland zips the pass here for Miller. Shot clock at 10. Jalen Worley. He spins, he dishes, and it's knocked away.
And of course, who's the guy? Donnie on the spot right there. Javon Franklin coming away with the steal.
Kelly not waiting. Can't hit the three.
Don't mind that three, however, though. For Kelly, that's a shot that Josh Pastner is comfortable with him taking.
So Florida State will call a timeout. 7:45 on the clock. 47-43. Matthew Cleveland still getting it done.
A moment of change coming. Matthew Cleveland, our guy to spotlight.
Let's take a look at our Bojangles big.
Cleveland got off to a start where he was able to get a couple buckets early, but then turning that right ankle, contesting the shot of Lance Terry, goes to the locker room. X-rays come back, no structural damage. So, of course, he does damage when he gets back on the court, knocking down the three, and then getting on the move, sprinting for the basketball, getting to a sweet spot, being able to raise up over top of Terry, knocking down the bucket. Matthew Cleveland has been a moment of change by himself for Florida State.
Yeah, not sitting down has paid off. Over the top and a slam for Miller. So out of the timeout, terrific play. Winds up a stuff for the 6'11 freshman.
Yeah, Baba Miller, another young man we saw have to exit in the first half, turning that ankle, but now has a career high 7 rebounds and contributing offensively as well.
Cam Corrin with 9 rebounds. That's also a career high for another Seminole. Here's Franklin to hook that one, but it won't fall.
You know, you see Baba Miller out here getting significant minutes. You got to remind everyone, he missed the first 16 games of this season due to an NCAA suspension. So it's really, you know, midway through for him. He's just now starting to try to figure things out.
Cleveland took a look at the shot clock. It's at 6. And it's going to go the other way with 6:43 to go. That was with 3.9 on the clock. And it's going to be a foul on Cleveland's first.
You notice how much more significant the limp is after a turnover? I've done that. So again, I know that trick, Matthew Cleveland. I've done that before. I've been guilty of that, but turning the basketball over. Oh man, my ankle really hurts right now.
Florida State cooling off a little bit here in the second half. Big reason why this game is tightened up. Terry to penetrate. Great job coming over by Corn. I think he was trying to dunk that thing.
A nice attack by Terry, but Cam Corn had something for him waiting at the basket.
Green with a one-hander. Too strong. Rebound by Corn and a whistle. Time now for our Food Lions Food for Thought. Last 10 champs, the ACC tournament.
Rarely would you find a league throughout the country that has this type of diversity, and the teams who have represented the ACC as the ACC tournament champion. 8 different teams over the last 10 years have won a title.
some highly memorable runs through the tournament, including just last year. Virginia Tech kind of felt like the Hokies came out of nowhere and just swept right through this thing.
And that's one of the areas, and again, when you talk about this league, this is the reason why I feel the ACC is the best conference, college basketball conference in the country. Now, have they had the best season this year? No. But at the same time, traditionally, year to year, you've got the best coaching. You've got 15 different styles of play in this conference, and which is the reason why you see the devaluation of the ACC. Last season, you see Duke and North Carolina. This season, Virginia, Miami, Duke. So many different teams always ranked. And then you think about, of course, last season, the seeding in the NCAA tournament. Look at this year. You still got those same seeds. It's only 5 teams right now projected in the field. But last season, 3 teams in the Elite 8, 2 teams in the Final 4. No other conference does this, OB. It doesn't happen anywhere but the ACC.
And what you're talking about, that opinion is based on year after year after year. Not any one particular year. Like this year, no question, the Big 12 is the best conference in college basketball.
I would give the Big 12 the nod, but I can tell you this right now. The ACC has 15 teams. The Big 12 has 10. I'm taking my 10 teams from the ACC. We can go toe-to-toe with any conference. Big 12, SEC, it doesn't matter who it is. I'm taking the top 10 teams out of this conference. I like our chances.
Man, I would not disagree. You and I cover this conference every week. Would not disagree for 1 second. Worley looking to penetrate. Lost it for a moment. Recovered. Nice pass as well. And another stuff for Corin. Big rebounding day for Corin with 10. 51-45. Coming up on 5 minutes to play. Kelly pulls up and swishes in a 3.
Miles Kelly's impressive over here. This young man can shoot the basketball. He can score the rock. Him being the ACC Player of the Week, the last week of the regular season, no fluke for Miles Kelly. Miles Kelly showing off his ability to shoot the basketball off the bounce. Lining it up for 3, knocking it down. You know, and LB, we talk about this team, and when you think about, let's look at these 2 teams on the floor right now. We mentioned that they both have beaten the #1 seed in the ACC in Miami. How different of styles of contrasting play do you have with Florida State, who switches everything defensively? Georgia Tech, Josh Bass, they play an amoeba-like zone. You never can figure out what they're doing. These styles of play are very difficult for other conferences, other teams to be able to match up with. But in the ACC, they're the 12th and 13th seed. That doesn't happen in any other conference. That shows you the level of depth of this stuff and the difference is coaching.
And a little, I think, education into why maybe the ACC goes deep in the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely, because you can't prepare for the Syracuse zone with your scout team in practice. You can't prepare for what Josh Bastner does with your scout team in practice or what Leonard Hamilton does. That's what makes this conference so great. It's the guys who lead the conference from a coaching standpoint.
Under 5 to go in a 3-point game. First game of the ACC tournament.
Nice find.
Corin again downstairs. Tough to move him there. A big athletic guy. His dad played at Georgia for the FSU Hall of Famer Hugh Durham.
Now, is Hugh Durham in both the FSU and Georgia Hall of Fame?
It's a great question. I got to believe he is.
I mean, I would think so.
He was a great coach at Georgia and Florida State. Won the only
SEC championship for Georgia, right? 1990.
That one tapped out, but there is a foul there as well with 4:21 left. And that's going to be number 4 on Franklin, who's been such a key man for the Yellow Jackets today.
Yeah, that's a big foul. Georgia Tech this season has only had 3 players foul out. That would be a record for Georgia Tech. The lowest they've ever had in the season is 5. So again, we don't want Javon Franklin fouling out and messing up any record.
Pretty amazing though. Just 3 all season long. Worley to the line. Can't connect on number one. Franklin with the save.
Obi, this is a game where Franklin may put up a 20-rebound effort.
Good. Terrific offensive rebound as well. And that's an and one. What a great drive. Lance Terry going strong. Takes the hit as well.
And for those at home watching, hopefully you didn't turn your head, because if you did, you come back and recognize this is a one-possession game after the strong attacks from Lance Terry, getting downhill, taking on the 6'11" Baba Miller with no problem.
Miller's third personal. Terry makes 81% at the foul line. Don't look now. It's a two-point game.
And Josh Pastor once again switching it up defensively, extending the zone. More of a 1-3-1 look out the half court. And part of the problem when you're playing against it, you never know what type of defense Georgia Tech is in.
Meanwhile, Matthew Cleveland, FSU's best player, right now remaining on the sideline. I won't say on the bench because he's still standing. And now Georgia Tech with an opportunity to tie or take the lead. Coleman with an open look. He hits it. And he ties the game at 53.
And give Georgia Tech a lot of credit. Things were not going their way early in this game. They continue to battle, and right now we have a reset. 53-53. 3:28 remaining. We've got a game on our hands here, OV.
Well, the ACC Network Basketball is coming your way, brought to you by New York Life. Over 12,000 agents there to help guide you through life's happiest and most difficult times. For 3 first-round games today. They're working hard. Highlights, analysis, complete breakdowns. You can only get one place right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app.
I'm not going to call what Booz is doing right now working hard. I mean, again, I'm not calling it that working hard. And speaking of not working hard, Booz might not be working much longer, OB. His son, he's got twins, but I can tell you right now, those young guys can play. His oldest son, is not older. I think Cameron might be 1 minute older.
1 minute, yep.
Is the best player in high school basketball, regardless of class, and he's a sophomore right now.
How about that?
If they change the age limit in the NBA, I don't think he's going to make it to college.
On the spin. Oh, nicely done by Jackson. Got right into that spin cycle to make it 55-53 FSU.
And that's a necessary answer right there for Chandler Jackson to be able to come up with a big bucket after Georgia Tech tied this game.
Franklin rolling to the hoop, but no.
Tough angle for him to be able to catch that one and finish it. Athletic enough to give it a great attempt, but that was a tough pass to be able to handle.
He's working on a 17-rebound game.
Got to get another point, though. Only 9 points. You got to have a double. If you get 17 rebounds, you got to have a double.
Really have to by default. Corin has to work for it, but gets it. When he gets position, boy, it's tough to move him.
Cam Corin was an ACC Rookie of the Week in January, and right now he goes to work when he catches the basketball in the interior. And you see him move Miles Kelly out of the way, catches the basketball, great footwork, the strength to be able to finish. And through all that, he got a strong talking to by Coach Stan Jones.
Meanwhile, Jalen Worley whistled for a foul here, and that puts Sturdivant on the line for Georgia Tech. And shooting a 1-and-1 with 2:27 to go. Yellow Jackets a couple of times looked like they were on the verge of getting knocked out. They have fought their way back. Sturdivant 67% at the foul line. He's the Yellow Jackets assist leader, the transfer from the University of Southern California.
Kyle, of course, is his godfather is one Damon Stoudemire, who's the associate head coach at for the Boston Celtics right now. NBA Rookie of the Year in 1995. And Kyle said Damon taught him a lot about this game.
FSU with the basketball. Now clinging to a 2-point lead, coming up on 2 minutes to go. Green gives it up for Mills. Shot clock at 7. He'll fire it up and hit it. A three-pointer.
Huge bucket by Caleb Mills, where the three-pointer is not necessarily his strong suit. A capable scorer from beyond the arc. Normally does most of his damage getting downhill, but stepping up and knocking out a big three.
And not long ago at 27 against Boston College, though. Here's Kelly with the answer. Well, that one you expect.
You do expect that, and you expect for Miles Kelly to step up and make big shots during this time of the game. Remember, Georgia Tech coming into the ACC tournament on a 3-game winning streak, and they played in the second half the way Josh Pastner was expecting them to play.
An entertaining game here. The first game of the New York Life ACC tournament between the 12 and 13 seeds. Jackson trying to get something done here against Coleman. Coleman, great defense on him. It's going to roll in, but wave that off, and the foul will go against Georgia Tech.
And a strong defensive possession by Debo Coleman.
Offensive here. Take a look.
Yeah, you get an opportunity to see two guys getting the job done. Caleb Mills thinking about it. Should I attack? Maybe I should just pull up from 3 and knock it down. But on the other end of the floor, Miles Kelly with the answer. Kyle Sturtevant, the penetration, and great job by Kelly moving to the open spot and knocking out a true long distance 3.
So 2-point lead here for the Noles as we approach 1 minute to go. Sturtevant on the dribble, the pull up, and yes, it drops. And we are tied at 60.
Kyle Sturtevant seems to do his best work when the game gets tight at the end. We've seen him do that a number of times for Georgia Tech this season.
Orley back for Jackson. 40 seconds to go. 9 to get off a shot. Green on the dribble. 5 to shoot it. Way downtown. Can't bury it. Rebounded away by the Yellow Jackets and Kelly with 22 seconds to play in a tie game.
And right now, Josh Pastner not going to call the timeout. Does not want to give Florida State an opportunity to switch their defense.
Under 10. Tied at 60. Kyle Sturtevant with it. Off a screen on the drive. The cut, and it won't go. Here's the follow and a foul as Franklin got hit with .2 on the clock. He draws the foul as he went up for a big board.
Obi, I'm not sure that Georgia Tech has had a lead at all in this game. And here we are with .2 seconds remaining. They did have one lead at 6-5 with 15:37 left in the first half. And at .2 now, an opportunity to win this game.
Wow.
There's nothing you can do with .2 seconds. You can't catch and shoot. You can tip it, but it's going to be difficult to tip from 94 feet away.
Javon Franklin 68% at the foul line and makes the first one. 19 rebounds. Franklin, that's the most by a Georgia Tech player ever in the ACC tournament. A timeout. He has been incredible on the glass and did it at clutch time too.
He absolutely has done it at clutch time. That point gets him to the double-double and more importantly, maybe gets his team a win. The timeout right now from Josh Pastner, as you see on the last possession, Kyle Sturtevant with the nice find to Lance Terry, who does the right thing by trying to dunk it, going aggressive to the rim. But as Franklin has done all afternoon long, pursuing offensive rebound opportunities, and it looks like right now Georgia Tech is going to continue their winning ways here in the ACC tournament.
0.2 showing on the clock. He has another foul shot to come. But Javon Franklin has really been the man for the Yellow Jackets.
In all honesty, at this point, with only 0.2 seconds remaining, the only thing that you can do is tip the basketball in. You don't have time to catch and shoot. If I'm Josh Pastner right now, I'm telling miss. Because as soon as he misses it and the ball is touched, the game is over. If you give him an opportunity to somehow throw a 94-foot pass to the rim, someone taps it in, then you could possibly tie this basketball game. That's the only opportunity that you have.
Well, an exciting finish here to game number 1 between the 12 and 13 seeds. Josh Pastner and Jerry Heater, one of the officials, with an exchange there on the sideline. Franklin back to the line. Franklin again, 19 rebounds. The rest of the Yellow Jackets have a total of 10 rebounds today.
And Josh Pastner calling his team over. I'm not sure what the conversation between he and Jerry Heater was about, but calling his team back over.
0.2 on the clock and a 1-point lead for the Yellow Jackets. And both teams going over to their head coaches. Seminoles going over to Leonard Hamilton. And coming up, it'll be Louisville and BC. As soon as they can get it going, the winner of this game between Georgia Tech and Florida State takes on the number 5 seed, the Pitt Panthers, at 2:30 tomorrow, right here in Greensboro.
Be interesting to see Louisville and how they approach this game. This is another team that started out, had a rough year, but they have picked it up as the season's gone along, playing against a team in Boston College which had a number of big wins throughout the season. Interested to see whether or not Quentin Post, the ACC's most improved player, will be able to play in this ACC tournament after tweaking the injury early against Georgia Tech last time out, only playing 3 minutes in that game.
So Wes and Jordan will have the next couple of games coming up here from the Coliseum. Meanwhile, Javon Franklin, the senior, back to the line.
And 0.3 on the clock, not 0.2, so you do actually have time to catch and shoot at this point.
And he did miss on purpose. Here's the heave by Corn, and that is the game. Big finish for the Yellow Jackets, particularly on the backboard for Franklin. He was the hero when they needed him the most. He made the foul shot to win the game as well.